Dear students, in our last session, we discussed about tools of data collection in survey research. So today we will continue with our topic that was interview. So Brahman has outlined some rules that can be kept in mind while designing an interview schedule. First of all, seek information about background variables to put the respondent at ease, means make them comfortable, and set the pace for gathering research related information. In an interview schedule, questions should be grouped into sections to have a better flow of thoughts for the respondents. Within each section, general questions should come before asking specific ones. Research questions directly related to the topic of research should be posed in the early part of the interview so that in case the respondent develops lack of interest in participating, crucial information has already been gathered. Questions dealing with opinions, attitudes should be asked before posing questions related to behavior and knowledge. Because behavior and knowledge questions are less affected by questions order than questions that tap opinion and attitudes. So these are the some points which should be kept in mind while designing an interview schedule. And when data is collected using unstructured interviews, the interviewer let the interviewee respond to a question in a manner of uh, free flow of his or thoughts or its expression. So this type of interview provide greater flexibility to the respondent or to the interviewer in changing the sequence of questions to be asked and to ask supplementary questions to the respondent. But there certainly are some disadvantages of it too. The data gathered may become too vast. First disadvantages, it can become too vast, which will be very difficult to handle and difficult to manage. It may generate wide variety of responses that can be clubbed together, resulting in lack of clarity and comparability of one interview with others. So making analysis difficult and time consuming. Unstructured interviews are more useful for studies that are exploratory, where you want to explore something. Then there are some advantages of interview, which are as follows. In-depth information can be collected through unstructured interviews or open-ended interview schedule. Flexibility to restructure questions, simplify language, or explain the context of the questions to make it easy for the respondent to answer. Information about respondents' personal characteristics and environment can be valuable source to enrich data analysis and interpretation. Then there are some limitations of interviews, like it is expensive by way of cost, time, and human resources because you need to go to some place or nowadays you can mail also, but sometimes it proves to be expensive. There are chances of human bias on the part of both the interviewer and the respondent. Interview needs a good working understanding between the interviewer and the respondent, which becomes difficult in survey research as a good number of interviews need to be conducted in a given time frame. Next is questionnaire. It is a self-administered tool of data collection in survey research. What is it? A self-administered tool of data collection in survey research, where the respondent receives the questionnaire either through post, email, or left with the respondent by the research team and collected later. So the returning the filled in questionnaire rests on the respondents. Questionnaires are used when the respondents are very well educated, geographically spread out, or high profile, with busy schedule, like an interview schedule. Questionnaires can also contain open or closed-ended. Maybe you have seen such type of questions, or you have provided that information where you filled up open-ended and closed-ended questions as well. So they are a part of questionnaire. It consists of written set of questions which are usually paper and pencil instrument that are that the respondent completes. Surveys gather data using questionnaires through mail, telephone interview, and group administration. After developing the questionnaire, the next step is to gather data from respondents. This is done using the four basic survey research methods like the mail survey, telephone survey, personal interview, and group administration. But researcher needs to choose a single method or a combination of methods to gather data for survey purpose. Then requisites for a good questionnaires or characteristics of a good questionnaires. It should be short and simple. It should be short and simple. So it doesn't create any confusion. Short, clear, and simple. Simple language you should be used. It should proceed in logical sequence from easy to answer to that requiring thinking and analysis. Personal and intimate questions should be placed at the end. Like when you talk about medical issues, health issues, or some domestic problem, so they should be placed at the end. Technical terms, abbreviations, or unambiguous terms that can be differently interpreted should be avoided. It is crucial for the quality of data collection with the help of questionnaire that respondents should be able to understand the meaning of each question. Cross-checking questions. Different ways of asking questions on one aspect of research help in assessing if the respondent is consistent in his or her responses. It further allows for an appraisal of the validity of the tool. It is important to determine whether structured or unstructured questions are best suited for the research objectives. There should be adequate space to answer each question. Too long spaces for answer should not be there as the questionnaire may look very long and may put off the respondent. So things should be simple, clear, and language should be clear, simple. Now reliability and validity of tools. A reliable survey tool is one that is relatively free from measurement errors. Errors may occur when construction of tool is faulty, it is poorly administered, or another possibility is data entry is wrong. Four types of reliability are discussed. First is stability. It is also sometimes called the test-retest reliability. A measure is stable if the correlation between the scores from one time to another is high. Equivalence, also called alternate for reliability, means two items measure the same concepts at the same level of difficulty. Homogeneity, It refers to extent to which all the items or questions assess the same skill, characteristics or quality. This type of reliability is also referred to as internal consistency, inter-rater and intra-rater reliability. The former refers to the extent to which two or more individuals agree. Inter-rater, extent to which the two or more individuals agree. Later, intra-rater, refers to a single individual's consistency of measurement. So, what is validity? Let's talk about validity. Validity refers to the degree to which a tool of data collection in survey assesses claims to measure. Validity can be based on content, phase, criterion, and construct. Or you can say four types of validity. It refers to the degree which a tool of data collection in survey assesses claims to measure. It can be based on content, phase, criterion, and construct. Content validity. It refers to the extent to which a measure thoroughly and appropriately assesses the skills or characteristics it is intended to measure. Phase. Phase validity refers to how a measure appears on the surface as it appears. That is, does it cover all the needed questions? Use the appropriate language required? Criterion validity. Here, responses to future performance or to those from other more established surveys are compared. Construct. It is established experimentally to demonstrate that a survey distinguishes between people who do and do not have certain characteristics. Let's sum up this session with repeating the key points. Survey is a widely used research design in the social sciences. This is the method of gathering data from respondents through questionnaire or interview schedule. A survey can range from a short paper and pencil feedback form to an intensive one-on-one in-depth interview. There are broadly two types of surveys: descriptive and analytical. Surveys which are used to describe phenomena are often referred to as descriptive surveys. Surveys used to explain why such and such phenomena occur are referred to as analytical surveys, means analysis of something, analysis of phenomena, why this happened, why this occurs. So it is referred to as analytical surveys. There are four popular survey designs based on the methods of data collection. They are internet-based web surveys, telephone surveys, personal interviews, and group administration. A researcher can select any of these types or use a combination of them in a research study. Each of the survey approaches has advantages and disadvantages. Researchers must carefully select the type of surveys that can suit them. So survey is useful research method, but it has limitations as well. In a survey, respondent may not readily recall answers to questions, or they may not answer accurately questions, which seems simple to researcher, maybe because of language, maybe because of their mood, or maybe because of some other limitation. Some respondents may purposely give responses to impress the researcher. Do you study more than 5 hours, more than 10 hours? And they say yes. And in fact, they study only for 3 hours. So, They are answering to impress the researcher. They are not giving you the correct information, accurate information. So this is bias. So respondents may purposely give wrong responses to impress the researcher even though it may not be correct. The success in collecting data for surveys depends on the careful framing of questions and the interviewing skills of researchers. Surveys are now increasingly using the internet and telephone online methods. Data for the survey is collected with the help of tools like structured observation, interview, and questionnaire. Interview can be structured with open or closed-ended questions, or unstructured to get responses in-depth understanding of issue of research. Issues of validity or reliability. Issues of reliability and validity are also important to bear in mind while finalizing for tools for our research purpose. So this is all about survey research. In our next session, we will cover descriptive studies, descriptive research.